Hello and welcome to the first module in the online MBA. This is Human Resource Management. My name's Dave Clark and I'm the tutor who's the lucky character who's going to guide you through this module. The purpose of this little podcast is to let you know what you've let yourself in for, which I'm sure is going to be fun, it's going to be enjoyable as well as informative and probably a bit challenging as well too. So we're going to go through the content of the module, some of the documentation, and I'll give you a quick tour around some of the facilities on Blackboard, which is our virtual learning environment. Okay, where do we start? We start with thinking about what the module is all about. You'll find on Blackboard this module scheme which gives an outline for the module, and we start off with the learning outcomes, what it is we expect you to be able to achieve by the time you've completed this module successfully. Have a look at those, have a think about them, and you'll find that they're not just about learn and regurgitate, they're about doing something with the learning, with the material, such as analysing, such as evaluating, such as critical work, critical meaning, thinking about ups and downs, pros and cons, which bits work, which bits don't work. As we move down the module, you'll find some stuff, I'm afraid, to do with assessment. I say afraid because very few students actually like assessment, but if you want to complete the module successfully and get credit for it, then this is one of the things we've got to do. For this module there's two bits of assessment. One is an individual report, an assignment, which will be done by the beginning of December. We'll talk further about that as the module progresses. And then the second will be a couple of weeks after we finish with the module, middle of January, and it'll be what we call a time-constrained assessment. This will be open book. What we'll do is we'll post some questions onto Blackboard and release them at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and you'll have until 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon to return your answers via Turnitin, and we'll talk further about Turnitin later on. Turnitin is the system you'll use to submit your coursework. Okay, as we move further down the module scheme, we've got a week-by-week account, a guide of what you're going to be letting yourself in for, what to expect. Week 1 we'll look at an introduction to human resource management, what it is, what it does, why bother. There's some reading on there and some questions for you to be pondering. There's a lot of those questions because we don't want you to simply just take an idea and say that's what the book says. We want you to take an idea and say, well, what do I think of what the idea is? Where do I think it will have strengths or weaknesses? Would it work for me? Why not? Week 1 then, introduction to HRM, thinking about what it is, what is strategic nature of HRM, different approaches to it. Week 2 we'll look at human resource planning. What is human resource planning? This is how we set about working out how many staff we're going to need to run the operation in the coming 2, 3, 4, 5 years. How many staff? What sort of staff? And how do I know? How can I justify it? If you've ever been involved in recruitment, which we'll look at later on, you know that sometimes it can be a bit of a hassle, it can be seen as firefighting. Human resource planning is about trying to prevent firefighting, fire prevention. Stop the crises occurring by taking action today. In the third week, we look at what I'm referring to as social partnerships. This is about how we work with our staff, how we work with and without trade unions. How do we talk to them? How do we let them talk to us? Communication processes, consultation processes. As I say, also working with and without trade unions. Employee voices in week 4. This is how we ask and allow our staff to give us their views, their ideas, their suggestions, their objections. None of us leave our brains on the coat shelf, coat hook when we hang our coat up on a morning. Let's give our staff the opportunity to use that. Week 5, we're looking at the area that most people have come across in HRM, recruitment and selection. But we won't be going through the nitty-gritty detail of how to do an interview, a job advert. We'll be looking at some strategic issues around recruitment and selection, recruitment possibilities, selection possibilities. And as line managers, as opposed to HR managers, what's your impact, what's your influence on the recruitment and selection process? Week 6, we look at pay, or as it tends to be known these days, reward, and issues about how we reward different people, different levels, for different levels of performance. So reward and performance management, not just about how much money to pay people, but how do we make it up, what's the makeup of it. Week 7 is human resource development, or training and development. So how do we improve our staff performance through, in the short run, through training on tasks that they do as part of their job today, and perhaps development, which is the longer run. How do we get them ready for different jobs tomorrow, next year after? So short term and long term. Week 8, which is our final week together, we're looking at management development and leadership development, which is a particular aspect of development, of course, developing leaders. So we'll explore issues to do with what is a leader and how do we go about developing them. Can leadership be learnt, or is it, are leaders born? And we'll wrap up the module in week 8 as well, by thinking about some of the themes, trends, issues, and maybe how the subject area, the profession, might look in the future. Some of the implications of how the world of work is changing. That's a quick tour around the module week by week then. As I said earlier on, 2 bits of assessment. First one is a written report that will give you a chance to explore issues around talent management and high flyers. And the second one will be the time-constrained assignment. There's a recommended book for this module, which is Beardwell and Claydon, Human Resource Management, Contemporary Approach. It's a couple of years old, but it's still a good one. You can buy it in paper form if you wish to, but you can also download it as an ebook through our library. I'll run through that in a moment. Just to finish off additional reading, you'll find lots of other sources identified there for you, all of which you can get in the library, and increasingly I want you to be focusing on the journals, the electronic journals in particular. You can access those wherever you happen to be, and those tend to be up to date and focused. I hope you get used to the idea of searching for e-journals, journal articles. It'll stand you in great stead for assessments and later on for your dissertation. So there we are. That's a tour around Human Resource Management module scheme. I mentioned the recommended book available in an e-book. How do we go about that? Well, your first step is going to be accessing the website, and from the website accessing Blackboard. Once you've accessed Blackboard, you'll find your various modules and organisations listed there. Mine's busy, so ignore that. If you access the module Human Resource Management, you will also be able to get all the materials from there. If you look at your set of organisations on your home page, you'll find the library is mentioned there. Click on the library, and there you'll find a guide to ebooks. Click on ebooks, and you need to be looking for Dawson Era ebook platform. Get my teeth in properly, and follow that, and you can find the Beardwell and Claydon book as an ebook available for you to download. There you go. I'll save you about 45 quid as well. So that's a sprint round some of the library pages. On Blackboard in the module you'll find regular announcements, you'll find all the module documentation, the course materials, opportunities for e-submission. You'll get to know and love that by the end of the MBA, but that's how you will be submitting your assignments. I'll go through that later on. In the meantime, one final little couple of points from me. What is my role? My role is to provide some input, some materials, some structure, some resources. It's my job to do some assessment and to give you some feedback, and I suppose also it's my job to ask lots and lots of questions. I'm good at asking questions, probably far better than I am at answering them. So keep having a look at the materials, keep asking questions if you get stuck. Let's make sure we get through this successfully, and let's make sure we have a bit of fun on the way. I'll see you on the website over the course of the next few weeks. Good luck, bye for now.